Is this one of the biggest mysteries that Rockstar left us to find out during the story mode Prologue? So it all started in Ludendorff, North Yankton 9 years ago, when Michael, Trevor and Brad were all completing a heist, and they were all stealing from a local bank in North Yankton. So they forced the security guard to open the door, then there's 3 hostages, and then Michael forces the security guard and all of the hostages into the back room, and then Trevor says he's going to handle the plastics, which means he's going to go and set the explosives, and then Michael continues to force the 3 of the hostages to go into the back room.
Hey, leave us alone! We didn't do shit to you!
And then once all hostages are into the room, Brad immediately goes up to the door and then locks it shut, and then Michael pulls out his phone and triggers the bomb that Trevor set. And then there is a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and then the sticky bomb explodes and unlocks the vault room for the 3 of them to go and steal all the money. And then they all make the way over to the vault room, and then they just start stealing all of the money that is inside.
That's the score! We're just... there's enough here for us all to enjoy.
Now Trevor says there is enough money for all of us here to enjoy, and then Michael says it depends how you look at it, which shows how different that Michael and Trevor are. Now one of the most iconic cutscenes happens when one of the security guards captures Michael and takes off his mask, and then Michael says to him, "You forget 1,000 things every day, how about you make sure this is one of them?" And then Trevor just decides to just kill the guard on the spot there and then. And then Michael said to Trevor there was no need to do that, but then Trevor just says there's time for grieving later, which means just get on with the heist. Now this time Brad is setting up an explosive to blow up another set of doors, which is how they're gonna escape.
Oh, fuck, you hear that? Sirens! Fuck the cops! T, hit the shutter switch!
Now Trevor opens the garage door, and now the 3 of them all have to escape. Now they're all trying to make their way to the getaway car, which is where a 4th character comes into the storyline. Now the 3 of them get into the getaway vehicle, where there's now 4 characters inside, and then you can see that Brad is bragging about what he's just done. Trevor is just being Trevor, and then Michael isn't very happy with what Brad said. And now a police car notices the vehicle and starts following it, where Trevor immediately opens fire on the police vehicle, which leads to the driver getting shot in the head, when Michael has no other choice but to fling the driver out and take control of the vehicle, which then makes him swerve into the police car, which makes him crash into the tree, which gives him a small window to escape. Now Trevor says, "Come on, get to the chopper," which means they're going to be escaping by a helicopter. Now Trevor just said move quick to beat the train, which doesn't end up happening. And then 2 more police vehicles make their way towards the car, but they don't know what car has escaped, so they manage to get away. Now they have a few seconds to try and beat the train, which doesn't end up happening, and the train completely wipes out the rear end of the car, which means they can't use it anymore.
You guys alright? Fuck! Come on! Ditch the car!
Now Michael says one of the biggest wonders ever. He says to Trevor, no, stick to the plan, which no one meant what it meant. Now all 3 of them are now out in the open, which anything could happen to them, but there is now a police sniper around the corner, and he immediately takes out Brad, but Trevor takes cover where Michael stays right in the cone of vision of the police sniper. And then Michael also gets shot, so if Brad is bleeding out and Michael also starts to bleed out, and then Trevor is left on his own. And then Michael immediately says to Trevor he needs to get out of here, and Trevor said, "I'm not leaving you, Mikey." And then Trevor gets into a very intense shootout with a lot of police.
Kill me, you pricks! Come on! Come on! Die, you cocksucker!
And then eventually there's too much police for Trevor to handle, so he immediately runs out into the wilderness where he finds a woman and he attempts to take her as a hostage. But then 3 officers make their way over to Trevor and he immediately tells them to stay back, and then he just runs directly into the forest, where 2 police officers immediately chase after him, but Trevor manages to escape. Now there's a black cutscene and everyone thought that Brad and Michael were dead, and then Trevor has escaped to anywhere. And then we spawn in and there's a funeral, which obviously could be for Michael and Brad.
He did not die a hero's death, but he was a man. Our Lord.
But as you can see in the background, that was the police sniper that took out Michael and Brad. But now there is a very, very weird thing that happened. Behind the fence, behind the tree, there is Michael, which he got shot. So no one knows how he actually survived and what he meant by stick to the plan. Did he mean stick to the original plan of getting to the helicopter? Or did Michael and Trevor secretly have a plan to get Brad killed? Now even today, not anyone knows 100% what Michael meant when he said stick to the plan. Comment down below what you think Michael could have meant.